Hello, my name is Arin and my technology is lab-grown meat. Lab-grown meat, also known as cultured meat, is made through cellular agriculture. It is grown in a laboratory from a few animal cells, shaping the fully formed sample into cuts of meat. I think that it is interesting to learn more about lab-grown meat because recently it is all about sustainability and how to feed billions of people around our world. In addition, I'm curious how the invention could benefit others and what are some of the possible downsides of lab-grown meat. In this video, I'll be discussing the history, design, and function of lab-grown meat and how it impacts different communities. William van Ellen, born on 14 July 1923, was a Dutch researcher who invented the idea of lab-grown meat. During World War II, van Ellen was captured by the Japanese and spent most of the war as a prisoner. Because he witnessed how brutally the Japanese treated the animals, van Ellen develops a deep interest in food and animal suffering. After the war, van Ellen attended a lecture on the preservation of meat, and he came up with an idea of growing meat painlessly in a lab. By the 1990s, with the help of several investors, van Ellen raised $750,000 for his research. His first patent was filed in 1994, with several more following. Following van Ellen's research, in 1991, John F. Vane of the United States filed for a patent for the production of cultured meat, where muscle and fat would be grown in a painless way to create food products. In 2013, researchers at a Dutch institute in London announced that they successfully made the world's first lab-grown beef burger. In 2018, U.S. company Memphis Meats, which had made its own ground beef in a lab, priced a quarter pound of it at $600. Singapore was the first country and government to officially approve the sales of the first cultured meat. Food company Eat Just is currently selling and marketing lab-grown chicken meat product in Singapore's restaurants. I took all of these information from Wikipedia and China News Asia. Making cultivated meat is a cleaner and friendlier way to continue eating meat as it causes 92% less climate impact, and without slaughtering any animals. Cultured meat is created by painlessly harvesting fat muscle cells from a living animal, typically by using local anesthesia to provide relief from pain. Scientists will place the cells in petri dishes with amino acids and carbohydrates to help the cells grow and multiply. Once there are enough muscle fibers that have grown, the cells grow into strands that are then combined to make one normal-sized meat. Compared to farming and slaughtering animals, lab-grown meat is completely painless. Majority of my information was taken from the Humane League. Conventional animal agriculture involved cutting down trees to clear huge areas for cattle rearing. Huge deforestation of Brazil Amazon has been observed for cattle rearing. Another issue is the methane emissions resulting from animal agriculture. It is a major contributor to rising the greenhouse gases and global warming in Earth's atmosphere. A significant 30% of the methane emission is contributed from cattle's enteric fermentation. Many scientists and researchers are currently working on developing lab-grown meat to decrease the number of livestock, less animal slaughtering for food, as well as creating a more sustainable and ethical global food system. They were hoping this could be an alternative meat supply and thereby reducing the environmental impact of conventional meat production. It is not known when lab-grown meat will hit the consumer market broadly, so it is probably not likely to replace traditional meat in the next few years. However, once it does hit the world market, lab-grown meat has the power to reach many consumers looking for a new option. Currently, people who are working in the agriculture sector are the main meat and food suppliers. Their income depends on people consuming natural food that was grown on farm fields. However, everything might come to an end since farmers might be facing the potential future drastic shift on how their consumers interact with them if cultured meat is to become popular and widely accepted. All of my information was taken from Wikipedia and challenge.org. If the market share of meat alternative increases steadily over the next 2 or 3 decades, it could lead to an overhaul of employment in food production, from a system dependent on farmers, meat processors, to cell biologists, engineers, factory and warehouse workers. The value of conventional meat would drop astoundingly, meaning that farmers will lose a large share of the market that consists of consumers. Due to the fact that animals would not need to be slaughtered, farmers will have to reduce the management cost of their farms so they would be able to reduce their livestock sizes. Instead of raising cattle the normal way, farmers will have to focus more on naturality and quality rather than slaughtering animals in brutal conditions. Now, plant-based meats are starting to play an important role in restaurants' menus, especially as chefs want to create dishes that appeal to the expanding numbers of vegan diners across the country. As lab-grown meats become more affordable, they could share space on dining tables and may unintentionally replace plant-based meat. When lab-grown meat become more trending, this may affect plant-based meat companies, as plant-based meat is facing troubles of replicating taste and texture. It might reduce market share, affecting plant-based meat companies. The current research into cultured meat resulted from a NASA experiment that attempted to find improved forms of long-term food for astronauts in space. With the increases in the cost of farming conventional meat, lab-grown meat might be one of the various new technologies necessary in maintaining the food supply. Aleph Farms collaborated with the Russian company 3D Bioprinting Solutions and two US-based food companies to test this method in space. On September 26, the team established a proof of concept. When the astronauts performed the test, were able to produce a small piece of cow muscle tissue on the space station. Most of my information were taken from challenge.org, the Humane League, and space.com. By removing animals from the food production process, the need for agricultural practices and battery farms is eliminated and takes animal suffering out of the equation. Globally, it is estimated that more than 70 billion land animals and 90 billion marine animals are killed annually for human consumption. By taking animals out of the food production process, issues related to animal welfare, such as the mistreatment of animals, poor living conditions, and disease outbreaks, could start to be eliminated. Culturing stem cells would be the ideal for this purpose, since the cells have an almost infinite self-renewal capacity. Fewer agriculture animals will necessarily translate to less methane, less water consumption and pollution, and less erosion of topsoil. To remove animals from a compromised situation, to affect welfare to population when there's an oversupply due to a closed marketing channel, or to depopulate of animals with minimal handling to decrease the risk of an animal disease infecting humans. The World Organization for Animal Health developed international standards to provide advice on killing for various species and situations. Some fundamental issues are defined, such as the competency of animal handling and implementation of humane killing techniques. If cultured meat becomes a trend, the supply chain of conventional meat industries will slowly get eliminated, resulting with less animals being controlled, reared in to be slaughtered for food. Native people refers to the people in any territory who lived there before colonists or settlers arrived. These people continue to suffer the devastating impacts of colonization, which leaves their communities without the necessary resources to withstand the economic and health impacts of the climate crisis. They lead movements to protect their land, uplift their communities, and reclaim ecosystems from the destructive forces of big industries like factory farming. An example is the natives who stay in Brazil Amazon forest who have their home deforested for commercial animal farming. Theoretically, once cultured meat is more widely accepted worldwide, it will have positive impact on the native, and there will be less sacrifices of forests. I took my information from earth.org, pubmed.gov, and the Humane League. The animal rights movement strives to make the public aware of the fact that animals are more sensitive, emotional, and intelligent than people have previously believed. Some beliefs that they advocate are animals should not be used for food, animals should not be hunted, habitats of animals should be protected, animals should not bred, and so on. Accepting the doctrine of animal rights means that there should be no experiments on animals, no killing animals for human consumption or clothes, and no use of animals for hard labor. It is not clear whether animal rights groups would fight for lab-grown meat, but it is possible that they will support this product to replace conventional meat that needs slaughtering of living animals. The UN Climate Summit ended with calls on governments to return next year with tougher pledges to slash greenhouse gas emissions. The UN meeting in Glasgow, Scotland, was billed as humanity's last and best chance to keep the all-important goal of 1.5 degrees Celsius. Keeping average temperatures from surpassing this level requires the world to almost halve greenhouse gas emissions in the next 8 years and reach net zero emissions by 2050. They should encourage the use of lab-grown meat as one of the solutions for this problem, greenhouse emissions. The information I took from is CNBC, the Humane League, and BBC. From this technology, people learned that with one good invention, it can potentially solve numerous global problems like environmental impact, food security, animal welfare, and human health. With this kind of invention, it helps to meet human desire for meat, yet with less slaughtering and animal cruelty. Thank you for listening to my video.